into this draft, and hopefully we can get some of your opinions here, because I'm pretty sure that we have kind of molded you through the seasons to predict them.
Exactly. This is what I wanted. I would love to actually join you guys in sort of analyzing what's going to happen here in sort of the picks and bans here. So just giving you guys a reminder, in the previous game, we did have a Natalia, Kaja, Value, and Selena ban at first, but this time around, we're going to see a Uranus.
Yeah, I think this is a really Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, so like this is one of the first Uranus ban that we have for today, and finally they understood that, hey, although like one patch has gone through, but they didn't exactly nerf him to the core where he's unplayable, so he's still pretty much that all-rounder that is still that solid fighter that can withstand it all. But Natalia, though, I'm not really the big fan of Natalia, because there's a way to actually get around it. So maybe you can actually enlighten us a little bit, Gideon.
Yeah, sure. And you know, Natalia, even though she's got some like pretty significant buffs, she has the really high kill potential in the early stages of the game, especially against squishier targets. If you design your team composition to either have high base damages or evasive maneuvers, or has counterplay against Natalia, and reduce the number of targets that Natalia can actually capitalize on, then the game becomes much more easier, because Natalia wants to focus on targets that she can kill, usually the marksman or usually a support mage of some sort. So if you really narrow down the targets to what it's going to be, then you know where Natalia is going to be like rotating across the map, where is she looking to punish.
I kind of want to just add on to that a little bit. Not to say I disagree with you guys, but I do go on the other side of the scale a little bit, because I am training my Natalia. Just a little plug for myself. I'm training my Natalia recently, and it's not just about the targets that you go for, right? You can be such an amazing split pusher. Specifically, the team doesn't see where you're going, so if you manage to maneuver yourself pretty well, you can actually take down turrets really fast. And I do believe one of the reasons maybe they're banning is they just don't want the enemies to be quick in taking down objectives, not just the kills, but also objectives as well.
That's right, and of course, you heard it from a Natalia player himself, so you guys might make sure you guys take pretty much good notes of that. So, other than that, of course, we are also having Selena, which is another primary assassin, which is very useful. And I got a feeling that TODAK, of course, they see that Arta is going for that Atlas pick, so there's going to be that jaw hit being taken for this side, because getting a Grok doesn't make all too much of a sense for Team SMG. So TODAK can actually put that sort of wall and then get that Abyssal Arrow sniping through if they really want to go for that sort of combo. But then again, they've already got that coup front though, so what exactly does TODAK want right here?
I think TODAK kind of wants to pivot towards more of a team fight composition at this point in time, because like if you're looking for pickoffs here, you're going to have to find a strong enough offlaner to actually deal with both the Jawhead as well as Cho, because we can tell by Team SMG's composition right now is that they can pivot into a 1-3-1, and hopefully they commit hard on the 1-3-1, because team fighting especially with the Atlas is a good option. However, it really depends on like what you have access to at the end of the day. And TODAK, they see this, they kind of want to force them into a hole where it's like, yeah, we want you to play the 1-3-1 so we can pick you off more easily. So let's get rid of like marksmen that are very good at team fighting. And Claude is just, you know, number one on the list.
Yeah, and now we're definitely looking towards how Team SMG is going to counter maneuver some of all these sort of the aggression as well coming from the side of TODAK, because there's a very high chance for them to actually go in for pickoffs as well. Judging from the fact that there's the mobile and they definitely can actually assassinate. But yeah, for us,
guys,
we're looking at
I just want to ask one thing. Isn't Diggy such an amazing pick for either of these teams at this point?
I mean, sure, but also take into account that, you know, tanks as well, that you can only have a tank and a support or two supports. And in this case, both teams have shown both their tanks and support. So picking a Diggy doesn't necessarily benefit them now that they've showed those two picks super early on.
That's right.
Lapu?
Oh, yes, please! Do it! Do it!
Last
Come on,
one.
SMG, lock it in! Yes!
We're going to be looking at the Hanzo coming out online. My goodness,
yes!
This is definitely going to be something I look forward to as they can actually do so many great split push. You talked about split push early on, Faraz, and we are looking at this one coming out of nowhere of SMG.
And imagine the buffs being stolen, man. This is just going to be so much easier for SMG to take the buffs for themselves.
Yeah, but also more importantly, the Hanzo, even though it is easier to take the buffs, he's also supposed to act as a replacement for a marksman, and he can do it at a very safe distance as well to look to get into that back line to get that early damage before his Ghost Demon Shinobi goes back into his body.
That's right. Now we've got two very, very interesting drafts where TODAK seems to be responding pretty decently with their very last pick as well. We're going to see a couple of Purifies coming out inside the TODAK. And now, let's see where or not can Team SMG equalize the scores to bring it in towards a game tree, as these are going to be your players fending off one another for the chance to head further in towards the playoff stages. And boy, for us, we're going to have a great show right here.
Exactly, man, which is why I'm just excited to see how much energy and hype you two can bring to this game, because this is going to be game number 2, possibly the last game of this match. SMG and TODAK, both veterans in the scene. Who is going to take this game? It's time to see it. So Gideon and Contra, please tell us the story of the game and make it as hyped as possible.
No worries, no worries. I'm super excited for this game because I've been talking to, like, you know, behind closed doors, because I didn't want to give this away. But, you know, Hanzo is something that I've always been very interested in after they've given him, like, quite a number of buffs just to make him relevant in this game. He's going to be able to steal so many buffs. And I personally don't think that this is exactly the, you know, the best way to utilize him. As of right now, I do think that he should have stolen the buff, stolen the red buff very, very early on. That should have been the high contestation point. But notice how TODAK is responding. They're going towards the enemy blue buff to look to compensate. And Team SMG, this might mean a fight.
Oh yeah, speaking of fight here, Ata, first one to be caught out right here. Does not look all too great for them, and they will eventually have to give this one away to TODAK as they actually reap so much rewards. But in terms of goal, not too different for now.
Yep, they just kind of have to hold their ground here. I mean, SMG, I definitely would have liked to see something else from SMG, but that's fine so far. They don't really get too much off of this for either side. But now a free kill. Reisha is going to go over to the side of TODAK as E1 gets a really, really good catch there. Looks like Team SMG is kind of disrespecting the space that E1 can create.
Yeah, it seems like he hasn't been moving all too much, though. Like, I'm not too sure what exactly was going on right there, but Reisha definitely has to pick himself up. And, of course, TODAK here playing extremely aggressive. They're going in for those jungle movements again. And River Crab's going to be pretty much contested here with the protection of E1 as well as Moon. And they're definitely ready to set up this dive.
Yep, and there they go. They've already jumped with the bouncing ball to stop anything, but the Brilliance is popped instantaneously. Reisha dodges a lot of damage there. Really nicely played. Reisha with some great finger movement, allowing him to survive that dive. TODAK just wasted their time and are forced to back off. Team SMG, can they look to punish here? Because bot lane is getting shoved in pretty hard, but we don't see a lot of rotational movement from the mid lane from Cho and the Hanzo.
And of course, now it's going to be Axe here, who actually will be negating a little bit of that sort of mid lane pressure for a little bit more. But over the top side, though, we're going to be able to actually see another contest for that River Crab. But 3 versus 2, and they are right now diving over the side of Nanas, almost popping that Firaga armor. He will be pretty much safe and sound for now. But there goes Axe, comes in with the great pickoff out of nowhere. And there's no time for the Selena to even get anywhere close. Man,
yeah,
what a way to actually turn back here.
Oh! Yeah, they actually go for a really good dive. They just use the demon form, the demon spirit form from the side of the Hanzo to kind of initiate the dive, absorb the damage, and, you know, waste the abilities coming from TODAK. They end up getting two for nothing there. However, TODAK, being very efficient with their movements, are stealing away the red buff on top of getting first turret down on the bottom side. They are looking to trade objectives. Team SMG will come up ahead, but only by a very small margin.
Yeah, of course. Now, with that sort of margin being created, and it's going to be pretty much in SMG's turtle up for grabs, but oh no, Way of the Dragon will get that killing spree. As we can see, even more of that sort of pressure coming in towards the riverside. Oh, great slap dunks coming in from Ata as he'll try to escape out of this one. But Ata, oh, he survived with a slither of health.
Oh, I thought that Abyssal Trap was gonna, proc was gonna kill him, but now E1, again, being very, very annoying. He isn't afraid, and it's kind of messing with Team SMG because they can't exactly tell whether or not they are under a significant amount of pressure, as Raisha is the next to fall. AX goes to try and salvage the situation, but now he's under a lot of trouble, under lethal damage. E1 should be A-okay. Arthur doesn't have enough damage to actually pull this off, and Tarkus gets stopped. His rotation gets stopped by Xborg just to ensure that no one is there to reinforce that blue buff.
That's right. Now, with that being said, it's going to be a little bit more interesting as there's a lot of space being created as well across the map with the loss of the mid lane turret for SMG, which means that TODAK will have to will just open up the top side here while SMG now actually focus over to the bottom side, trying to actually take down this Esmeralda. And of course, Winter Dragon being used, but there's a lot of heavy commitment coming from this side, which means Takis is going to be left alone to defend this, and he will give this one away as well.
Yeah, so far, I'm waiting for Smooth to really, like, pop off into this game, but he needs the items first. He needs to be able to steal everything. We can see here Cho just hiding in the brush, giving information to the rest of Team SMG so they know where to rotate. You can see the bottom side. The moment you saw TODAK move towards it, they start backing off. That's the information being fed from Cho.
Yeah, and now, of course, so with the Cho pretty much getting so much of all these related pickups here, I'm definitely thinking of how exactly is late game is going to be like for them. Oh no, seems like there's going to be a little bit of a pickup here over on towards Ata as he gets caught up all by himself. And Team SMG, they are pretty much split up, and Esmeralda over the back though. It's pretty X-Ray trying to actually hop up. A lot of damage has been done, and oh man, he won't be able to live to tell the tale as X-Ray will cut off one way from the bottom.
Yeah, there's nothing much they can do at this point in time, and now Team SMG trying their very best to kind of salvage the situation as TODAK now in very clear lead in this game. 2k ahead, more turrets, three more extra turrets than Team SMG, and so far Team SMG are playing the more passive route. They're waiting for TODAK to make a mistake, but TODAK, it's not that like they don't make mistakes, it's just that they're controlling the tempo really well, and now they get the catch onto Arthur. Arthur tries to pull him away from the team. He does survive. Chiku isn't able to finish off AX, but Nanas coming in with a big flick on the last insanity. Nanas trying to secure the kill onto Smooth. It means that he's gonna go down here, and he's also going to lose his immortality as well, putting him on a 20-second death timer. They trade 1 for 1. However, I do think this is more beneficial for TODAK.
Yeah, and of course, TODAK, although they have a real rough dive in towards uncharted territories right there, they are getting all these members of Team SMG suppressed and occupied at the same time. And now they completely demolish all the tier 2 towers as well. So only 3 more turrets being left out in the open. Although the kill score seems pretty much even, the goal is apparently not. TODAK has already purchased a lot of all these items, and of course, thank you very much, observers, for some pretty interesting view.
Yep, I really love that, you know, that low down angle to really see the perspective of the heroes. But yeah, so far TODAK has basically been getting leads off of objectives and just stealing buffs away from Team SMG. Like, TODAK right now is just being more efficient in their movements and pathing in comparison to Team SMG, who is kind of just responding. Now that they don't have the tempo, they can't really force too many plays. And people have to understand that without tempo, you don't really get much of a say in where to pick your fights. Oh, exactly. This is big. Nanas gets chunked all the way to the back, and Nanas, he's gonna be going down instantaneously. However, AX is gonna be the next to trade and just trading 1 for 1 every single time.
And looking at the trade here, Weiser being forced opposed. Oh my, look at the damage. Instantly wiping out the floor as Takis gets bursted with a 1-2 tap. Whew. That was it's like too much. That was too much damage coming out in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There was a lot going on the screen at once. Like, a lot of ultimates have been blown here, but, you know, the main targets, Reisha and Smooth, are still alive. Reisha is still extremely strong. He has 4 kills and Impure Rage. He didn't decide to go for the, you know, Magic Worship or even the Mystery Shop to get items faster. But I think, you know, if Team SMG can kind of drag out this game long enough, they might have a really good chance at taking this game away.
Yeah, of course, they really need to actually drag the timers out. It's only 9 minutes of play, though. So, Smooth actually getting himself an endless battle, which is going to be a great news. But, you know, the point of getting that Hanzo is to actually get some great sort of takedowns there from quite afar, as well as going in for split pushes or assassinations. Now, TODAK is not allowing that to happen all too much. But, of course, now it's going to be AX here that finds both Moon as well as E1, but all the access in towards the jungle has been denied by just these 2 members guarding this point.
Yep, they are just gatekeeping, making sure that Team SMG can't go out to get farm, and you can see that the goal lead is just significantly increasing here. Before this, it was only 4K. Now they've developed at least a 7K goal lead against Team SMG, and we know, based off of pro play and a lot of regular season, that the moment a team gets at least 7K, if not 5K more, it becomes a very difficult game to come back from.
That's right, and we're definitely looking at Team SMG desperate to actually push in towards getting that Lord, but E1, of course, getting himself in towards a pretty interesting angle here. Well, on his Atlas, he's just trying to actually disrupt them for a little bit more, while TODAK is already dropping that Lord in towards 50%. Now they're choosing to actually let go. They know it's a little bit too late, and they've got a bigger fish to fry over the top side. So, of course, they are trying to actually halt that wave for the current standpoint. Chiku here with that blade of display already being built up.
Yep, they're just trying to hold their ground here, and I don't know, because TODAK has now hit the 32K gold lead, and wow, that's a pretty significant power spike, and you can already see by the items alone that, like, TODAK is ahead. They've hit their 3rd item power spike, and for most cases, especially for the side of, especially for the hyper carries like Chiku, like X-Ray, those 3 core items is pretty much enough to end anybody on the side of Team SMG if they get caught out. So they have to be very, very wary in this upcoming fight, because it's going to be a make it or break it for Team SMG if they want to stay in the competition.
That's right, and we're looking at Chiku now actually getting so much of that gold. Everyone else, the last time that we brought up that gold chart here, everyone's at 5K for the side of Team SMG, and now here comes the dive coming in, as well as they are looking to actually catch it for the side of Smooth. But, of course, with a little bit of that sort of the pressure, the top side will frag, and they have to deal with the Lord before defending it towards the mid side as well. And now they're going to commit beautiful last insanity and towards 3 members of SMG as they will nail it down the base. This might just be the perfect 2-0 for the side of TODAK, but instead they are still finding their way, and it will be TODAK here with a great